Right, hello, good morning, and welcome. It's me, Pluto Man, as always. Um, I've just been vaccinated. I've just had my third dose. Isn't that exciting? I'm boosted up now. I got Moderna for my third dose. So I haven't had Pfizer yet. Pfizer's the one that everybody gets, and I'm a bit of a hipster, I guess, with these vaccines now because I've had AstraZeneca for that's so I got AstraZeneca for the first two doses, and then my third dose this morning, about an hour ago, in my so I'm playing two tournaments at the same time. I've got junk here. So there's a PLO8 330 buy-in, and I've got a 330 buy-in on the no limit single draw as well. And I think this is the only table that's running here, which is interesting. It has we could even have an overlay here, I guess, depending on how many people join. I don't often play this one. Normally play the 220 that starts a bit earlier. So, um, this one's about to get going. They both start almost at the same time, I think 1 minute apart. So yeah, Moderna, hey, the Moderna man. And pretty happy with that one, you know. Having read about it, I think, oh, it's uh, and that it seems to be very, very effective. Although Pfizer's is what I want to do here. I'm going to fold. It seems really, really tight, but I don't know. Just under the gun, and people gonna call you. You'd be amazed at what people call you with. He's going all in here. Wow. Well, is this the second hand or something? Oh, for God's sake! And they split it up. Wow. What a hand you had. What an absolute hand. 77% equity there. Um, problem. Whoa. So you managed to hit the live three, which is not actually a very good low, but heads up it gets a bit better. So shit, look what you had there. You had the flush draw two, right? Not that you needed it. Here's a horrible hand. It's only 5 in the tournament by the looks of things. He's gone already. Right? Just stop playing. I'm not even going to play this. It's just disgusting. Really would like some other people to join. I don't think they can cancel the tournament once it's started. Okay. I want to actually. Okay. Be fantastic. You want three sevens. What about you? I'm gonna actually. It opens. I'm gonna pat this. Okay. I'm just gonna call him. Such a small raise. Okay. 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 I'm not gonna. Okay. How many? Okay. What happened here? What did he do there? Oh, I win. That's nice. So I decided to 3-bet snow there. Decided to try it. Okay. Right. So yeah, you've just seen me. Uh, 3-bet snow with I think I had trip 7, so I had and a couple of other lowish cards there, which block, but partially block anyway people from having strong hands. I mean, the power of blockers is not so great in this game as it is in triple draw. It's not nearly as great as in that game because, like, even if you block 3 of the sevens, even if you had all the sevens, somebody could still make a very, very big hand. It doesn't preclude that. It helps, but it doesn't, not in the same, not to the same extent that it does in triple draw, due to 7 triple draw. But anyway, it's not a play I would normally make. And I decided this time to be a little bit more aggressive, not so timid in this tournament as what I've been sometimes. Um, and yeah, let's see if that works out for me. So you saw me there just play the beginning of that tournament. I played basically three. I was playing 3 tournaments. 2 of them didn't go so well. One of them went a little bit better. You will see how this one pans out. I'm going to focus on the single draw, but you will see hands from other tournaments occasionally pop up, I guess. Uh, so without further ado, let me get on with what actually kind of happened. Um, so I have a nine draw, a good nine draw here in the small blind. Notice that there's this guy here with very few chips. His bounty's in place, only 75 cents, not a lot. 150. So how do I decide? I could, and I think about this. I think, should I try and squeeze this? It's difficult. You're out of position. By squeeze, I mean three bet. Oh, there's a kind of dead money here, and bet to raise to, I don't know, six, 700, something like that, to to maybe drive him out, maybe get both of these to fold, or at least one of them to fold, and then you might be flipping for the pot, 50% chance of winning a pot with all this dead money in there. I felt that maybe I should have done that. So anyways, let's see what happened. I just, so you can see me, I was sort of looking at it, and then this guy here just shoves, and I can't call here. I just can't. Not at this stage of the tournament anyway, and there's still a lot of play left and everything. So he saw all that dead money, three of us in there, and yeah, he is one for doing that, so for making that play. So I think I really needed to squeeze there. Actually, I think I should have made that play. He's the sort of person who quite likes shoving. So I've got a nine draw on this. On the cutoff here with six-handed. I've got a nine draw here. This time he just calls. See, 08 hands are popping up at the moment too, but we're just not focusing on them. I would like him to just get all his chips in here. He doesn't. I hit a jack. He draws two. What does he do? He bets, and I call. Yeah, I mean that was actually a fairly easy call. I decided to just check call there. So he was bluffing there. That's fine. I don't know whether I would bluff with sixes there, but he did. So it was kind of interesting. I think I changed his colour to blue because he's fairly aggressive, happy to make moves. So I mean, I could have directly bet out there. That's a possibility too, but I decided to just check the back, and in the end, I think that was the play. So anyway, going on a little bit further. That guy's gone. I didn't get his bounty. Somebody else did. Now I've got. The thing about this is sometimes you could think about breaking a hand like this. Not often, but like in a big multi-way pot or something, you could break something like 10, 7, 6, 5, 2 and go for the monster hand. You make number 3, number 4, number whatever else that, if you hit an 8, that would be number 17, which is still a huge hand, but you can make some real monsters there. The problem with this is that your 7, 6, 5, 2 are all suited. So I don't think you'd ever really want to do that here. It just cuts down your outs. So, but I mean, realistically, I'm just going to be patting this almost always, I think, unless, can't imagine there being a situation here, with this sort of configuration and everything where I don't pat it. I don't know. Anyway, and especially with the four hearts there, there's just no way. Another good hand there. As we go back to this table, the one I'm focusing on at the moment. Even though I've actually got the bigger screen on the other table, I was actually focusing on that one in my head a bit more because I'm better at this game. And it doesn't need quite so much of my attention, I don't think. Even though the hands come thicker and faster in this game, because there are only two streets. So I actually did have the best hand, even though there was all that patting with worse hands there. So I do chip up a little bit there. But I decided not to bet that. I mean, I could have bet. That was the thing. Should I have bet there? Should I have bet? Yes. So we've got. I'm still never quite sure how to pronounce your name. I'm going to say Anus, Sim Anus. I'm not going to pronounce it the other way. I just don't think that the double N. I don't think that's quite accurate. Oh, hang on. Did you? Maybe we didn't get rid of you. I think you're still there. I think you're still there. I don't think anybody got rid of you. Assuming it's the same player. So anyway, I hit pretty well. I hit basically perfect. I decide to go for a bet here. I'm hoping he's going to call, and he does, or even if he goes all in, because he's shown himself to be pretty clueless, this guy. So now I've got a big draw on the button. Right, raise it up to just over 3 times. Don't want to go too big. I don't want to lose that guy. So I get a 2-card draw, which is insane. I mean, from a small blind coming with a 2-card draw doesn't make any sense. I make big hand here. Number 11. Make number 11 here. It's a big hand. I go for the 2,000 bet. I'm trying to target him actually, but I don't get a call from you, as it turns out. I do, however, get a call from you, and I get a chip up again. Now it's 8,500, but I started on 3,000. We've been going for about an hour now, so I'm scooting through all the hands where nothing happened. And I'm being generally a little bit less timid, but you're going to see a bit of timidity come into play here. And yeah, this is 08. You always seem to have plenty of equity, and then you end up not doing so well. Still in this tournament though. Managed to win the side pot there. Anyway, what have I got here? I fold that. Showing a bit of 08 action here, which who knows? I mean, I would like to get good at this game one day. One day I'm going to figure this game out. Probably it's not going to be today or this week or this month or this year. So we're getting near the end of this year. But one day I want to figure the game out. I didn't mean to show all these hands, but anyway, I want to make sure I miss stuff on the tournament that I'm focusing on for this video. Anyway, so I'm just going back, looking at these hands. Yeah, so that's the hand I had, number 11. He called me with 985. I don't think there's any way he's going to get away from that. I think that's a good call there, even though it didn't work out for him. Bluff there sometimes, right? That's probably kind of neutral EV or something that cool. Pot's was relatively big, so anyway, I hit my jack. Just gonna check it back. Does he bet? Does he bet? Does he bet? No, he checks it back and I win. I guess I've now got about 9,000. So I'm having a good tournament here. To this point, see, I'm in 5th place out of 31 who are still in the tournament. I decide to go for to raise to 3x there in the big blind. Still that hand's popped up. He draws 2. I hit, so I just go for a value bet now for just over half the pot. What does he do? What does he do? He folds. Okay. I think he would have called me with worse hands than that. I'm sure he would have done. You've got a 2-card draw here. Almost certainly. I mean, sometimes you could play this as a 1, but you can just make such a strong hand by drawing 2, and you're out of position to everybody. So I decide to limp here, and some players are going to exploit that and some are not, and he's the sort of guy who's going to exploit this. So I'm thinking about this a little bit as the tournament progresses, but just being in the position that I'm in, him being to my left, that I need to actually kind of fold those sorts of hands, or just raise. Really, it feels like or what I could do is limp my whole range, and so I have to think about that. Maybe I should employ some sort of mixed strategy here. So now what do? I decide to go to 5 times the original raise. So I do squeeze here, and the reason I'm keen to do that is because he's so short. I'm going to probably just min raise there, so I'm probably going to be in good shape against whatever he happens to have if he just puts all his chips in. And, that's sort of dead money there. So I'm pleased I played it like this. The other thing is, like, if he goes over the top, then things get difficult. The thing about a hand like this is that, because you're not really you're not deep enough. If you're deeper, you can definitely three bet and then fold because your 8-7 draw. You've got a big draw, but it's not an absolute premium draw. It's not like a smooth 8 draw or a 7 draw, which I maybe prefer to just flat with because you don't want to be re-raised a 4-bet off a hand like that. That's a disaster. You really want to see a draw with a hand with a monster draw. This is not quite in that category. You can make number 11, you can make number 13 and 17. So you make some very big hands, but none of the top 7 or 8 hands. So anyway, decide to go for the squeeze, which I think is the right play there. What do they do? Fold. And he calls me. Well, that's interesting. So he calls. I was kind of more expecting it to be the other way around. He doesn't discard. And I hit 9-8-7, so I kind of hit, pretty happy to hit that. So I feel that I'm ahead of whatever he has. I decide to bet it, right? It's like a value bet, like it's half his stack though, and it would have been awkward there, possibly if he'd actually just got all his chips in there. I mean, it's possible he was slow playing something, he was going to check raise me. A little bit of a risky play there. A little bit of a risky play. I don't know whether that many hands worse than mine that were calling. Possibly. It might have actually been better to have shoved there. He might have been more suspicious and would have been more inclined to call me there. The way he played it. I mean, that's kind of how not to play a pat hand, isn't it? What he did there. So that's like textbook how not to do it. Anyway, I did get chip up there. I'm getting up for 12,000 now. So I am having a good morning on this in this particular tournament. We've only been going for what 68 minutes, and I decide to do something interesting here. I don't have a very good hand. I have a queen on the cutoff here. I decide to sort of just kind of turn it into a bit of a bluff, really. I don't know whether this is such a good play, but I think sometimes you just want to vary a play a little bit and show up with stuff, that people maybe don't expect. So this time, I decide to raise this, right? So I don't decide to just over limp, which I would maybe be inclined to do, or even just fold possibly. Decide to play it like that. And this is a funny spot. So I've hit a queen, which is a below average hit, and it just screams that he has some kind of value, like some kind of 10 or rough 9, the sort of 9 I was drawing to. It just seems like a sucker bet there, and I decide to fold. I just don't know. So anyway, got queen 10 here. Draws 2, about even with the sort is median hand here. So about 50% of the time he's actually going to hit a better hand than me. So if he bets, okay, I decide to fold. So in my hand, I'm right at the bottom of my range. They were pretty close to the bottom of my range. So I decide to fold. I don't think there's any harm in that somehow. 11,000 at the moment. Got a good draw here. Again, get some money in. 666. Don't go too. I mean, he's sitting out. So his bounty's going to be in place very soon as well. So that's worth thinking about. I hit 260. I decide not to bluff here, I think, because there's a slight chance that you could actually win. But he makes 2 3s. I have 2 6s, and I lose that one. Okay. So things get interesting very soon, actually. I mean, I think I've had my moments here, haven't I? This time I decide to. Oh, now I get knocked out of the 08, I think. So now we're full screen ahead. So I decide to this time just just pat my queen 10 again. He draws 2 again, so it's a carbon copy. And again, I will check and fold to any decent sized bet. This time he doesn't bet. I take it down. So, but you can see I've lost chip stack. I mean, I got to 9,000 even with winning that hand. Now I've got a good hand here. I've got a 10. Can't break something like this because there's a gut shot there. Oh, now this is kind of a little bit interesting. I decide. So he's got. So I actually cover him just. What can I do here? You can't just call. You really either have to fold or 4-bet. The problem with this hand is it does unblock some of the hands that beat me, like 98s and stuff. You could have a jack quite easily or something along those lines. Probably sees I've been relatively aggressive on the button here. I do fold to 3-bets quite a lot too, so someone noticed that my fold to 3-bet percentage must be relatively high. So I decide to shove here. So think about it for a minute, or a few seconds. I'll slam dunk this, and he gets out of the way. So I've got 12,000 again. He doesn't think about it for very long, actually. So I'm thinking I probably had the best hand. Might have had a draw. Oh, by the way, you see I do have a bounty. I was 75 cents. So actually, that guy, I think I did take his bounty. I think you saw that because it was just a hand where it was all just limped in and not much really happened. I just happened to, what the jack or whatever it was I happened to make, just happened to be the best hand. So get 30, well, I get 75 cents for that. It's not very much, but it's better than nothing. Monster draw here, premium draw. Make as good as number 5. Number 5, number 7, and number 11 with this one. So I decide to just raise to 2.7 times. Get a call from the small blind. What's the big blind do? He gets out of the way, draws 1, I draw 1. Hit really pretty well. But it looks like the speed at which he checked it back makes me think that he's going to fold to pretty much any bet here. So I decide that I don't know, I decide to bet large here. So to sort of mix up my bet sizing a little bit tonight. You've noticed I've gone for a few over bets, a few little bets, some medium-sized bets, which is what I normally go for. So I had to mix it up. I'm actually pretty happy with what I've done. So 11,000. So anyway, and he's a short stack here. So, but his bounty's pretty small. You've got a bigger bounty though, so you're kind of watching you a little bit here. But anyway, this becomes academic for me as I get moved. Lucksomuch has, I think, brought in 4 times in this tournament. I don't think luck is his real problem here. He's playing way too many hands. I mean, this is just insane. Why you would play it like that and leave you 1,100 behind? No idea. Doesn't make any sense at all. He goes all in for what little he has, quarter of the pot, and he gets called by a queen. Yeah, okay. So now he's actually got, a reasonable stack suddenly. Well, okay, still a small stack, but kind of some playability. 9, 8, 5, big hand. I'm probably going to have to. I'd probably just commit with this one. It's also big. It's good enough to bet out after the draw, especially if I'm starting to snow and stuff. Then, I mean, I think it's a mandatory bet. This bet roughly half the pot, just over. I mean, I get a fold. So 13,000 now. Now this is where things really start to get interesting. Oh, hang on. I'm going to just stop this for a second. I've got 10, 9, 7 in the big blind here. It's difficult, this. If there's dead money, I actually think shoving is probably what I need to do here. I decide to 3-bet smaller. It's so awkward. My stack size it's not that small. It feels like it's too big to shove. but you're out of position. It's like, well, you know, it's so hard to play post draw out of position with this hand. So I'm not enjoying this at all, honestly. Spadoogie now going on as well. I had a decent start to that tournament, by the way, but things rapidly go downhill, actually. Well, not maybe rapidly, they slowly go downhill, just gently roll downhill. So anyway, I've got, I was 11,000 in the pot, 8.5 in my stack, and he's got 20. And what do I do here? So it's so awkward, this. That's why I think my 3-bet size wasn't right. I think probably the only thing to do is to shove or fold. I mean, it's probably a little bit weak doing that. So awkward. I mean, or maybe call and draw. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that should be what I should have done. You know, because a 9-7 is so much stronger than this hand. Can withstand some action. That might have been a possibility too. I didn't think about that. I still think I should have just shoved though pre-flop. But anyway, he decides to, instead of shoving, he just bets the pot. Obviously, it doesn't matter in terms of his bet size. It's putting me all in, but maybe he's more likely to, or less likely to be bluffing if he's doing that than if he simply just shoves. I don't know. Anyway, I decide to hang on to the chips I have, which are still worth something significant. But yeah, that was just such a difficult one. I think I had to probably just get it all in pre-flop there. So a big draw here. Let's get a little bit of money in here. Don't decide to raise relatively small. What do I hit? Oh, I see. I hit a big hand here. I bet small. I do that because I want Big Action Dan to raise me, or somebody to raise me. That's what that was for. But maybe I should have just gone bigger, as I would normally do. So now I've got another 10-9 here. 10-9, 7-6-2, almost exactly the same hand as I had before. Oh no, hang on, I haven't. Hang on. This is just a replay of the hand I already had, the hand I had before. So I do get another 10-9, which you will see in a second. So I thought that was it. My apologies. 10-9s are a feature of the middle stages of this tournament. So we've gone for now an hour and 40 minutes, probably maybe past the middle of this. Here it is. Here's the 10-9. This time I'm actually under the gun. We're only 5-handed on 3 tables of 5. 15 and 13 get paid. So we're close to the bubble here. We've just come back from a break. It's 11 o'clock. It's about the first or second, probably the second hand after the break or something. Second or third hand, something like that. So we do get through hands pretty quickly. So under the gun, I just go to my normal, must be my normal raise size, 2.7 times. See what happens. I'd really like him to get up. I see he does. That's good. And I get a call from you. Now, he decides to draw 2 this time. So it changes things a bit. The fact that he's drawing 2 and I've got position, it's a much more comfortable spot than the other 10-9 I had. I don't think there's much value in betting this. Bet a 10 possibly, but like a rough 10, pretty rough 10 like that. It's not the roughest 10, but it's not a good 10. Now, what do I decide to do here? My 9-7-5 is actually not that strong. Let's just see all the money in the pot. It's min raised under the gun here. So just because of the pure odds, I'm getting more than 6-1 here. So I decide to call and draw 2. So I have a big hand on that table. And I need a queen. And you're both pat. That's the last thing I was expecting is them both to be pat. And yeah, neither of them had very good hands, although 10-9 and Jack-9. Now again, I've got, again for the third time, in pretty quick succession, I've got another 10-9, another pat 10-9. Ugh, these hands are killing me. So I've got a pat 10 on this table too, in Badoogie, which is probably a little bit better than a 10-9 in single draw, I suppose. Although the trouble is then they have three attempts to outdraw you instead of just one. We're going. Oh, sorry. I need to press that old play button, don't I? Oh, come on. I'm pressing play and nothing's happening. Right, now I'm pressing play and something's happening. Right. So what do I decide to do now? This is where I F up, honestly. So what's interesting is I actually cover you. You've got 10, 1, 6, 2, whatever that is. I've got 11, including that, 11, 907. So I cover him by a little bit, also cover you. So really, there's only one thing to do here, and that's to just shove. That's really the only thing to do. Average stack is relatively, it's well into, it's probably like 14, 15. So we're not big stacks here, but so I'm lucky to cover the people to left and right of me, given my stack size, which isn't that great in itself. It's sort of medium, sort of average, I suppose. So I need to shove here. That's the only thing to do. It's not a great hand, but it's not hopeless either. As a pat hand go, it does beat some other pat hands, right? There are a lot of other 10-9s that it could beat, jacks and whatever. So I think, and I'm out of position. So the only thing to do that makes any sense at all is to shove. And that's not what I do. This is just terrible. Honestly, this is just terrible. Because then I've got to play post, just like the other 10-9, there have been three 10-9s, the first one. So I decide to 3-bet to that amount. And it leaves me 6,000 behind. So, I mean, sometimes, of course, this is going to work. He's just going to fold, or I don't think anything of this. This time, what happens? I mean, if he shoves, I'm going to call him. Oh, come on, come on. What does he do? He's thinking about this too, right? It looks like he was kind of thinking of following. So obviously I pat this. And then this is where things get very dicey. And then I have to check about it. I don't really have any choice here. And I can't see him bluffing here. I just can't see him doing it. I mean, because he can see that, his stack is small compared to the pot, which should in theory mean that I call a lot. But then in reality, do I have strong hands here ever or whatever? I mean, I don't know. It feels, I mean, my biggest problem here was pre-flop that I had to pre-draw. I had to shove. That was the only thing to do, just jam. Instead, I end up in this shitty position, and I decide to. I mean, I've only got 1,700 odd. If I call here and I lose, he hasn't shown me any signs that he's maniacal or anything like that. So, I like curse. I'm pretty sure in real time here. I've got some. I tried to look at some reads. Checks big hands post. I've got that as a read, right? I made in early October. So now then, I've got a draw to a monster, but it's compromised by the gut shot here. So 4 makes me a straight. Notice that I'm in 14th place out of 15. So I'm in. So still 15 players left. 13 get paid. I'm not in good shape here, but I do have a hand. And obviously I raise here. Do I get everything? Do I get it all in? I don't think I do. This is where probably that's what I needed to do. I think in this part of the tournament I was just too timid, and that very nearly. Well, you can see that obviously this video goes on for a little bit longer, and there's another part of this video. So obviously I'm not going to get eliminated here, but my sort of timidity really. So I only go for three times, right? Even with you, you and a limper in here. So we're now onto two tables. We're down to 14. Is that, you can see we've just gone on to seven, a full table here, which means we've got two tables of seven going on now. So we're now on the immediate bubble. We're now on the immediate bubble as this hand is taking place. So he three bets me here, and I've already put, a reasonable amount of my stack in. I don't think there's any choice now but to get everything in, and that's what I do. I have position. That's a big help. I mean, if he pats, I guess I have to draw. If he pats, I have to draw. I have no choice. The question is what to do if he doesn't pat. I have to draw to that, which is not pleasant at all. It's unlikely to have worse than a queen. It'll happen very, very occasionally. So anyway, so let's see what happens here. So he does draw. Now I've got a decision on my hands. Like I'm pretty sure I'm an underdog here because you know that a jack is no matter what I do. If I draw one, chances are he doesn't have a gut shot, which means that I'm probably an underdog against whatever he has. Though even though I might be able to make a stronger hand than he can. It's possible. The but with my gut shot, I have to think, well, do I have a better chance to pat the queen? That's it. That's ultimately what I do. I decide to pat the queen here, and let's see what happens. You know I'm going to win. He makes a pair of twos, so he juices up, and I cling on. I'm lucky. I actually thought I was an underdog here, and you always hear that a pat jack, like a really bad, like a rough jack, is kind of flipping with a good draw. Well, here I was actually flipping. I was exactly 50-50. There were 42 cards in the deck, and 21 of them give him a winner. 21 of them give him a loser. And luckily for me, he got one of the 21 that gave him a loser. So actually, this was a very similar sort of hand to a smooth, to a rough jack in terms of. Well, basically, it's exactly the same. Because if he hits a jack, obviously I lose. If he hits a queen, obviously I win. Because 9-5-4-2 is worse than the 7-6-5-3. So yeah, so I was exactly 50% there. So not an underdog actually as I originally thought, and it was the correct play. If I had decided to draw with my gut shot, then I would have been sort of 55-45 or something, an underdog, that sort of underdog. So I made the right decision, but even then, half the time I was heading out the door here. So I get lucky. I misplay that hand, well, not that hand, but the one before, which put me in that horrible position in the first place. Looks like I've got away with it for now, at least. I've got a big draw here. Make number 7 and number 8, number something else, 17, I think it is. Anyway, I hit 10-8. And he's pat. So sometimes, of course, I'm going to have the best hand here. Depends if he bets. Certainly if he shoves, I have to fold. Let's see what he does. But with absent some kind of read, he's going to be doing something really out of the ordinary here. So he bets half the pot, and I decide to let it go. I just don't think I'm beating much. So anyway, you can see I didn't go through there's really not a lot to show about the next sort of 10 minutes or however long it was, because I just didn't get a lot of cards. When I had a draw or something, I missed it every time. I was getting raised off my hands a lot because pre-flop, because people were playing aggressively with their bigger stacks than me, and I ended up getting 14th out of 14, ending up in a real horrible situation. So so having survived that that 50-50 spot early. I'm now in a spot, but I mean, I've got a big hand, so I'll just go with my big hand, hope it's going to be good. Um, the trouble is that he could easily call here. I don't know what about you. You could call. Suddenly, somehow you've got up to that stack size despite playing like a muppet for most of the tournament. Uh, so, um, let's see. Let's see what happens here. So 987, very good hand, but is he going to call me here? So obviously extra people in the pot really harm my equity. If you have two monster draws, then suddenly 987 is not looking, equity really takes a hit. So let's see what he does. So he folds, which is really good. I'm really happy about that. So he draws one. He draws one. I don't draw obviously at all. And he makes that hand. Now I'm assuming that, I don't know about the shove there, honestly. I just don't know whether that's the right play. No, I mean, he was unlucky that I happened to wake up with this. I'm assuming he has 8632, in which case I had 69% 69% here, patting and him drawing to the 8632. Of course, if he was drawing to the 10, I had 100%, but I don't think he would have been doing that. Who knows? So anyway, I mean, that was a big moment because I was on the absolute bubble again. What was crazy about this, and I'll show you in a second, is so I'm a bit lucky. Yeah, 31% of the time I would have gone there. So I've got a big draw here on the button. Can make obviously the nuts. Can make number 5 as well. I can make number 19 if I hit a 9. So I feel like I've got my top 20 hands down pat now. So he just folds. So that's interesting. Now you can see here. Oh yeah, I'm in third place now. After that hand, I'm in third place. Don't have a lot of bounties, but from almost out of nowhere, I'm in good shape now. See my steady slide. And what was interesting is how long that took. It took 21 minutes. So we're going for 21 minutes, and the bubble still hasn't burst. We were on the bubble at that point there, and we've gone 21 minutes, and we're still on 14 players. It's amazing, really. So that must be one of the longest bubbles in this tournament in history, I guess. But I'm now in good shape, and you can see how my stack size how I got that reprieve there, and then down until I luckily woke up with that big hand. It obviously was the winner. I could have got knocked out there too, like almost one in 3 times. That's what would have happened. So yeah, so I'm lucky to still be around. And now, can I capitalize on my good fortune? I mean, look. I mean, I had a very good spot period there, didn't I? It's kind of interesting to look at these graphs. And then again here, right? Um, so, so is the bubble going to finally burst? That's the other thing. We're going to stay on this bubble for forever. The other thing about the bubble being so long means that the blinds keep going up and going up. We've got almost 3 entire levels of blinds in this time, which is a lot. So we're kind of short. We're shallow now because of that. Well, relatively anyway. So we are still in the bubble. And finally the bubble does go, and it's kind of a cooler 97652, 98432. So there are only 2 other hands in between yours and yours. So they almost had identical hands, really. Somebody had to win though, and you, having got into a position of having all those pretty decent ship stack, managed to lose it all on your 4th attempt at playing into the tournament. So so anyway, I've got a good draw here. Got a 9 draw. The only thing I can do is to call. I could try and squeeze, but the thing is, I just don't have a lot of chips. So anyway, go four-way. I have to hope I can hit something, and I do. God, I hit a really big hand. So I'm really happy. I decide to check raise here. Actually, I feel that one or the other is likely to bet there. Um, but I whiff the check raise, but I do get the bounty. That's something, right? And whether my hammer's really strong enough to check raise is another matter. I don't know. I just have to kind of vary that play a little bit. So, so anyway, good draw considering I'm on the button here. I have a lot of weak draws on the button too. Let's take that one down up to, you know, look how big the blinds are though. That's the thing. So we look at so just so blinds are 500, 1,000. The ante's 250. Well, pretty shallow. So anyway, this is an interesting one. So I decide just limps the button then, right? So I decide to draw two and try to make a queen, which I do. I make queen, jack, 10, 5, 4. And he drew one, right? So he went 2, 1. And this was actually a pretty easy call. I called very easily there, and he had a lot of blockers and stuff, but it didn't really matter too much. This is where it doesn't really matter because even that I had kind of junk, but it was junk that I was happy to call with. Um, you know. So anyway, I'll make a note here. I don't think this one's probably off the camera that you raised to 4.75 times with a monster hand. I was expecting you to have and when he showed it down, I remember being surprised, expecting it to be a weak hand. People often do that open raise to large amounts of quite weak hands. He decides to do it with a really strong hand. Sorry, I've got a straight here, and he's gone for the same amount, the 4.75 again. 87632 it was. So 26,000, 9 players left now. Final table beckons at the moment, actually. 5 on this table, 4 on the other. And 2 away from the final table. There is a pay jump at the final table in this tournament. Not all tournaments to have one, actually. So, decide to raise. Now, I just think, am I being transparent with my raise sizes? Does this scream that I have a pat or a sort of good, pretty decent, but not like premium pat hand? Does it scream that from this? I don't know. I hope not. I feel I've been doing a good job of varying my bet size in this tournament. So anyway, draws 1, and I feel I have to bet this. I feel I have to. I get a call. It's gone down to 11,000. That was a really good bet. I've been feeling very chuffed with myself. Now on the cutoff, I've got a Jack 10. And this time he shoves, and I just hope he's drawing. I mean, I feel after losing that hand and getting low on chips there, 11,000, he might just be getting it all in with a lot of stuff here. So I feel that my call was certainly justified. Just had to hope he was drawing here. If he pats well, I'm going to get rid of the jack and try and make a 10, which might be good. Let's see. So anyway, I pat my 8, and I was drawing as dead as a dodo anyway. He had a 9, 8, 6, 5, 4. Ran into a big hand there. Lose a fairly significant pot. 27,000. And of course, the other thing to think about is his bounty, almost $5. And that was another reason to call there. Don't forget about the bounties here. Bounties are really, really important. So, so I feel that I mean, I had to call pre there. I mean, I had to. I was unlucky to run into something as strong as that. So that's it. Now it's not it though. As you can see, I'm still very much alive. Been a little bit lucky. Had those real speed wobbles in the middle of this tournament. I managed to survive. I very nearly crashed there. So I'm going to pause this for now. It's going to be the end of this first half of the video. There's going to be a second part that you're going to see in a moment, if you so choose. See what happens next. 27,000 to play with. And yeah, what's going to happen next? Who knows? Am I going to come up with some insane bluffs? Am I going to make some hero calls or folds or whatever you call these things? Um, yeah, I have to wait and see. But I hope that was an interesting little passage of play there, and I'll yeah put up the second part very shortly. Okay, have fun and hope you enjoyed this. I hope you'll enjoy that video too. Okay, take care.